Emma sat cross-legged on her bed, her laptop resting on her knees. The soft glow of the screen illuminated her face as she scrolled through her boyfriend's Instagram account. Jordan had always been careful about his social media presence. Too careful, she realized now. It wasn't just the meticulously curated posts or the endless selfies with her that made her suspicious. It was the comments, the tags, the DMs she'd accidentally stumbled upon when he'd left his phone unlocked on the coffee table last night. Her stomach churned as she clicked on a tagged photo of Jordan smiling with a girl whose name she didn't recognize. Corinne, the caption read. Emma's fingers hovered over the keyboard, her chest tightening. She clicked on Corinne's profile. There were more photos: Jordan at a bar, Jordan at a park, Jordan at a concert. All of them casual, all of them with different women. Different women. Emma's jaw clenched. She opened another tab and started digging deeper. Facebook, Twitter, even LinkedIn. Everywhere she looked, she found traces of Jordan's double life. Screenshots of flirty messages, photos of him with his arm around someone else, videos of him laughing with strangers who seemed far too comfortable in his presence. The evidence piled up, each piece sharper than the last. She closed her eyes for a moment, taking a shaky breath. Confronting him would be the logical next step, but the thought made her feel hollow. What would it change? He'd lie, deflect, maybe even gaslight her into thinking she was overreacting. No, she needed something more impactful. Something that would make him feel the same way she did right now, stripped bare, exposed, humiliated. And then it hit her, his mother. Jordan's mom was a devout woman, the kind who posted Bible verses on Facebook daily and had a crucifix hanging in every room of her house. She adored her son, treating him like he could do no wrong. Emma had met her only once, but that was enough to know how deeply she cared about Jordan's image, his reputation, his morality. A small smile crept across Emma's face as she opened a new email draft. She attached the screenshots, the photos, the videos, everything she'd gathered over the past hour. Her fingers moved quickly, typing out a brief message. Dear Mrs. Thompson, I thought you should know the kind of person your son really is. She paused, her cursor blinking on the screen. Should she say more? Should she explain herself? No, she decided. The evidence spoke for itself. With a deep breath, she hit send. The notification popped up almost immediately. Message delivered. Emma leaned back against her headboard, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing for sure. Jordan's world was about to come crashing down. And she? She was going to enjoy every second of it. Her phone buzzed beside her. It was Jordan. Hey babe, he said when she answered, his voice warm and steady. What are you up to? Emma glanced at her laptop, the email still open on the screen. Oh, nothing much, as she said lightly. Just taking care of some things. There was a beat of silence on the other end. She could practically hear him frowning. You okay? You sound off. I'm fine, as she lied. Just thinking. About what? Emma smiled to herself. About how people never really change, no matter how much you want them to. Another pause. That's cryptic. Is it? She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. Or maybe it's just the truth. Before he could respond, she hung up and turned off her phone. Let him wonder. Let him panic. Let him scramble to figure out what she knew and how much trouble he was in. Because when Mrs. Thompson saw that email, there was no telling Emma stood in the center of the bustling cafe, her silky hair catching the light as she surveyed the room. The hum of conversation and clatter of dishes filled the air, but her focus was razor-sharp. She had chosen this place for a reason. It was Jordan's favorite spot, where his friends and co-workers often gathered. Today, it would serve as the stage for his reckoning. She spotted him near the counter, laughing with a group of people. His chiseled jawline and confident demeanor made him stand out, even in a crowd. But today, that confidence would crumble. Emma adjusted her posture, her green eyes locking onto him like a predator marking its prey. She took a deep breath and walked toward him, her heels clicking softly against the tile floor. "Jordan," as she called out, her voice steady but cutting through the noise like a knife. He turned, his smile faltering for just a second before he recovered. "Emma! Hey, I wasn't expecting to see you here." "I'm full of surprises," as she replied, her tone laced with a subtle edge. The group around him exchanged curious glances, sensing the tension. A few of them shifted uncomfortably, as if they already knew something was about to go down. Emma didn't care. Let them watch. Let them all see what happens when trust is shattered. "Can we talk?" Ishi asked, though her tone made it clear it wasn't really a question. Jordan hesitated, his eyes flickering to his friends before nodding. "Oh, sure." He led her to a quieter corner of the cafe, but the distance wasn't enough to shield them from prying eyes and curious ears. Emma crossed her arms, her gaze unwavering. "You know why I'm here." He tried to play dumb, shrugging with a feigned innocence that only fueled her determination. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "Really?" She tilted her head, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "So you don't remember all those late-night messages? The photos? The encounters?" Jordan's face paled slightly, but he recovered quickly, forcing a laugh. "Come on, Emma. You're being paranoid. You know I wouldn't. Do you remember Corinne?" She interrupted, her voice sharp enough to make him flinch. He froze for a moment, then glanced around nervously, as if hoping no one had heard. "Keep your voice down," he muttered. "Oh, I'm sorry. Should we talk about this somewhere more private? Maybe at your mother's house?" His eyes widened, and for the first time, she saw genuine fear in them. "Emma, don't. Too late." She pulled out her phone and opened the email app, holding it up so he could see the screen. The subject line was impossible to miss, proof of Jordan's betrayal. "It's already been sent." His jaw clenched, and he took a step closer, his voice low and urgent. "Why would you do that? Do you have any idea what this will do to her? To me?" "Funny," Emma said coldly. "I don't recall you thinking about anyone else when you were sneaking around behind my back." "You're taking this too far," he hissed, his composure slipping. "Am I?" She leaned in, her green eyes blazing with intensity. "Or am I just giving you a taste of what it feels like to have your world turned upside down?" "No," she corrected, her voice calm but firm. "You ruined it. I'm just making sure you can't pretend it never happened." Before he could respond, the sound of a familiar voice cut through the air. "Jordan? What on earth is going on here?" Both of them turned to see Mrs. Thompson standing at the entrance of the cafe, her piercing blue eyes scanning the scene with a mix of confusion and disapproval. She looked as elegant as ever, but there was an unmistakable stiffness in her posture. The kind that came from suppressed emotions threatening to break free. Jordan's face went white. Mom? What are you doing here? She held up her phone, her expression hard. I think we need to have a serious conversation. Emma stepped back, folding her arms as she watched the drama unfold. She had set the stage, and now it was time for the players to take their cues. The rest of the cafe had gone quiet, the air thick with anticipation as everyone waited to see what would happen next. Mrs. Thompson's gaze shifted to Emma briefly, and for a moment there was something unspoken between them, a shared understanding of betrayal and the lengths one might go to in response. Then she turned back to her son, her voice sharp and commanding. Explain yourself. Jordan stuttered, his usual confidence nowhere to be found. Mom, it's not what it looks like. Don't lie to me, she snapped. I've seen the evidence. Emma stayed silent, letting the weight of Jordan's actions speak for themselves. She could see the panic in his eyes as he struggled to come up with an explanation, but there was no way out. Not this time. The murmurs from the onlookers grew louder, and Jordan seemed to realize the gravity of his situation. He took a step toward his mother, his voice pleading. Let's talk about this at home. This isn't the place. Oh, I think it's exactly the place, Emma interjected, her tone calm but cutting. And Emma couldn't help but savor the sight. This was justice, plain and simple.